Okay, we're all here at the Bundy siege. Okay, people, I'm going to tell you the end of this before you get started. They are seizing this land, and the end victor in economical gain is going to be United Arab Emirates. Okay? Now, this is so dirty, so beyond belief, that you're not going to imagine. First, I want to show you a map of the plan of what they plan to do. Okay, this is a simulated reserve and corridor system to protect biodiversity. This is a treaty they have with the UN. Alright? Basically, where you see yellow and red, that's red is core reserves and corridors, little to no human use. Yellow is buffer zones, highly regulated use. Okay? Blue, or this pale blue, is going to be aqua. The dark blue is just water. Okay? Now, blow this up. This brown here is the free zone to Mexico, 100 mile. All right. You see, these are your Indian reservations. They ain't looking so big, and they got all these red zones in the middle of their reservations. So you might want to tell your Indian friends they're about to get screwed too. All right. Okay. I guess that then the mapping for the area east of the Mississippi and south of the Ohio rivers is at various stages of completion. Evidently, they've achieved whatever hideous goals they have in Ohio and east of the Mississippi and south of Ohio. Basically, you're going to lose all these people are going to be pushed over here. All right, that's the plan. See how there's just like a lot of people here? All right, they're going to make about 50% of the U.S. uninhabited by humans. All right, now I'll take you to how this ties in with Mr. Bundy and all these ranchers out here. Oh, this just in from Harry Reid. India map. Here's the one. Alright. These are the goals they're working on right now. Now, I pulled that up to show you. That's the one I want. Here's where we're talking about Clark County. Now, this fight has already been fought in Nye County. Alright? The sheriff there stood up to him and chased him out. They won their case. This case, Mr. Bundy shouldn't even have to go to court. He has been there since 1860. They cannot throw him out unless they can take his water rights. He doesn't have to pay them for water rights. Now, even though this says that the feds own the land, it's a catchy use act, I think. Now, the Prior Appropriations Act in the west of the Mississippi, pretty much. I'm not sure where the line is on it, but he's definitely in it. West of the Missouri, I don't know if it's west of Mississippi or west of Missouri, or I don't know. It could start in Chicago for all I know, but I know he's well in it. All right. Because his family's been on that land since 1865, and here, he's down here, alright, he's part of that Prior Appropriations Act, and we'll get that up. Now, the feds were only supposed to be in there because most of the land west of the Missouri River is what they call open range. People at the federal government came in and managed it because of the range wars. But the people retained their water rights, and that's why it was made public use, because the range wars get everybody to stop fighting, and the feds can't operate unless they have a certain um, you know, has to be done in a certain way because of states' rights. So the states let them come in and handle it, and they got the rights somehow. There was some money changed hands, but they returned the water rights, and it was for public use. The Bundy family's been there since 1870. This superseded any deal the feds may have. So they do not have to pay them anything. And they were trying to charge them. He does not have to pay. This has already been fought in court under U.S. versus New Mexico. Alright.
Get back! Please, get back! Get back now! Move it now! This is it! Just see a woman on the ground. Back up! Back up! Back up! You're gonna get back! Back up! Back up! I'm pregnant! You like that guy! Get back!
Get everything recorded. Just stand back. Come here. Stand with me. You stand with me. Stand with me. It's the best thing you can do right here.
They thrown down my aunt, dude.
Listen to me. Listen to me. You stay right with me. You stay right with me.
They threw down my aunt. They
listen to
my
me.
cousin 3 times.
Listen to me. You stay right with me, okay? Huh?
We got on video. Who's the aggressor here? Who's the aggressor?
Listen, let it go. Let it go.
Am I carrying an AR?
Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Dude, seriously. Don't give them the satisfaction of taking it away. All right?
When you seen that fight and the argument, it was about they were looking in. They came down the road with a dump truck and a backhoe, and they thought they had dead cows in the back of the dump truck. Well, lo and behold, when they went in there, they were pipes and all his water stuff was in there. So I'm thinking to myself, why would they tear out his water? And that's when I started looking at this stuff, and I found out that he has the water rights, so he can't trespass, because when you got the water rights, that means you got the right to everything, the plants coming up, because they're filled with water. All right, that's what the Prior Appropriation Act is about. Okay. All right, this is the Prior Appropriation Doctrine, not an act, it's a doctrine. In dealing with water rights, the Prior Appropriation Doctrine states that the water rights are determined by the priority of the beneficial use. This means that the first person to use the water or divert the water for beneficial use or purpose can acquire individual rights for the water. This is also in state law. All right. Now, how does he get it from 1870? He gets it under ownership fee. Okay? It's a simple ownership, absolute, unqualified legal title to a real property. He doesn't need title or anything if he had it since 1865. Now, if they made a law after that, then they got to write it in. But prior to that, and I remember when I was a kid, my dad talking about it, the people retained their water rights when the feds did that. Okay? Has unconditional power of disposition of the property during his or her lifetime. Upon his or her death, property held in fee simple can always pass to the owner's heirs. Fee simple ownership may exist with respect to property owned jointly or solely. That's all there is to it. That's how it passes to them. Now, I'm going to explain to you, like people in the city might have a trouble understanding this. You know, where you have your houses and you have that back alley, okay? And that's all public use. Well, nobody can put up a toll booth and say you got to pay to park in the back of your thing unless you all jointly agree for some kind of maintenance thing. All right, but he's maintaining the property here, so if anything, the feds should be giving him money. All right, not the other way around, because he keeps all that vegetation that they spend where they don't have cows and stuff, them junipers and all that other stuff. Cows all tread that down and eat all the stuff up, which keeps the place from burning up. Like California, they chased everybody out over this, and that's why you have them bad fires out in California and Oregon. That because they chased all the loggers and all that stuff out of there. Here you don't have that in Nevada. All right, or say you got a driveway coming down your driveway, and there's 5 houses on the driveway, but you all jointly own it. All right. Well, no one person can charge the other. Now, you can all chip in and pave the driveway if you like, but if you all don't agree, then the driveway don't get paved. That's all there is to it. Okay, now we go and we found it's Southern Nevada Water Authority out there. Remember that authority thing? That's where you give people, that's not a, it looks like a government, but when it says authority, it's a business that they look like the government, but they're not. There's actually a profit being made by people. All right, it's not like if it said co-op, then everybody that used it would be getting a check back at the end of the year for whatever profit it made. All right. It provides wholesale water treatment and delivery for the greater Las Vegas Valley. All right. Now, right in here, it's responsible for acquiring and managing long-term water resources for the Southern Nevada thing. For its inception, SNWA has worked to acquire additional water resources, manage existing and future water resources, construct and operate regional facilities. The SNA is governed by a 7-member board of directors, which comprises 1 elected official from each governing board of the SNWA's 7-member agency. Do you ever remember out there voting for them? No, because they're voted for them. Anyway, it's responsible for the day-to-day actions. Okay. Southern Nevada gets 90% of its water from the Colorado River. The other 10% of the water comes from groundwater that is pumped out through existing wells within Clark County. Perchlorate in the groundwater in Henderson and associated runoff into Las Vegas has been a concern since 1997. All right. So they got to get the groundwater. What you got to remember is they're not going to drill those wells and put all that stuff in. They're a management company. They're going to get somebody to do it. Well, who do they get to do it? Well, we looked around and United Water came up. Okay? United Water in historical times was founded as Hackensack Water Company in New Jersey. Then it listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Okay? Its first use of chlorine in New Jersey City. And then in charcoal filtration and safe drinking, first nation's largest ozone filtration plant. Merger with General Water Works Corporation. Okay, then they had the acquisition by the Suez Environment. Right? Who the heck is the Suez Environment? Was a leading French-based multinational corporation headquartered in Arennes, Paris, and operations primarily in water, electricity, and natural gas, and waste management. Suez was a result in 1997 of a merger with Compagnie de Suez, Lyoness, and a leading French water company in the early 2000s. Suez also owned some media and telecommunications assets, but has since divested these. According to the Mason's Water Yearbook, Suez served 4 million people around the world. The company conducted a merger of equals with the fellow utility company, Gaza de France, GDF, remember that, to form GDF Suez. The water and waste assets of the Suez were spun off into a separate publicly traded company, Suez Environment. Alright? And look, you know you can rip this, wrap this, take it. I don't copyright nothing. You might have to stretch it out a little bit or put something a little extra to it. But the idea is to get the information out to the people. There's going to be a part 2 because I want to keep these short so people on cell phones and all them trick things, smartphones, can watch them. If I make them too long, they can't watch them. I could run it for 2 hours, but I'm not. So this will be part 1. Watch for part 2, etc., etc., etc.
Give me liberty or give me death. I'll stand against tyranny. My soul will never rest. There is no longer any room for hope. If we wish to be free, there is no retreat but in submission and slavery. We have petitioned, we have remonstrated, we have supplicated, we have prostrated. Is life so dear or peace so sweet as to be purchased as the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course others may take. But as for me, give me liberty or give me death. Give me liberty or give me death. I'll fight till the end, till my last breath. Give me liberty